Welcome to After the Call, the podcast dedicated to the stories and struggles behind the badge, the turnout gear, and the uniform. Each week, we'll bring you a powerful conversations with first responders, mental health professionals, and advocates who are breaking the stigma, sharing their journeys, and offering real solutions. We'll talk about PTSD resilience, family impact, and the resources that can make a difference. Because the job doesn't just leave scars on the body, it affects the mind, the heart, and the people who serve alongside us. And no one should have to carry that burden alone. This is After the Call, where you'll find strength through resilience.
All right, well, welcome back to another episode of After the Call. I'm your host, Patrick, followed by...
I'm Veronica.
Tori.
And Josh.
The boo. So this week's episode is going to be a little bit different, right? Yeah. We're going to talk about some craziness that's been happening within our state, right? I mean, there's tons of stuff going on within the country itself, right? We're not going to get political or nothing like that. But the shit needs to stop, right? All the craziness needs to stop, right? We have too many people getting hurt, injured, attacked, whatever, right? So whoever's doing it, stop being bad.
Exactly. That's all they need to hear.
Just stop being bad.
We'll put a clip out right now.
Stop being bad.
Don't be that guy.
So he changes the world.
So that's the message, stop being bad.
Yes.
But so within Arizona, 24 hours, right?
Yes.
We've had
24 hours, yep.
5 officer-involved shootings, a helicopter crash, pilot, medic killed.
A surprise officer hit by a car in a foot pursuit.
Right. So what is that, 9 agencies? 10? 10 agencies involved?
I think up north they had 9 just up north, with when you include EMS and everybody. And then...
So 12.
At least. Right. Surprise, Phoenix, yes.
Yep. So
Coolidge,
12
Chandler.
agencies affected by a 24-hour period. 2 family now grieving, plus officers, EMS, fire. I mean, everybody involved with the first responder realm is now being affected by it. That was involved with all those stuff.
Yeah.
So just to look at it from a grander picture, like that's huge.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of trauma being added to traumatic events. Like, that's a lot of people that are their careers are gonna change after this last 24 hours.
Right.
You know, careers can never be what they were before yesterday.
No. So the way I kind of thought maybe talking about this is talking about it from the different mindsets of each other's perspective of what you did prior to doing this, right? And then you brought up maybe looking at it from a spouse aspect too, because I didn't think about that, because there's a lot involved. It's heavy, all the stuff. So maybe do you want to give a rundown of what you know?
Sure.
For the Flagstaff stuff?
I think I know probably as much as everybody. DV situation gone bad. They show up. He's shooting. From what I hear, he's like hopping from rooftop to rooftop to rooftop, just shooting.
Semi-automatic rifle, right?
Multiple agencies respond, as we do, right? I think he did not die, right? He was shot. But I think he survived it. In the course of that, there was the air unit that comes to support, and they go down. I think that they're still determining that. That might take a while to figure out why. The shootout continues for over an hour after the air unit goes down.
That's insane.
That's insane. Like, how do you continue in that operation when you know...
Right.
You know, Terminator just happened, right? I mean, how do you continue to...
It's like the worst of the worst, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you don't want to keep going, but it's like you have to keep going. I can't even imagine how everybody that was on that scene feels.
Yeah, I mean, when I don't want to say, I guess when the bad guy gets the first big punch of the match, taking down a helicopter, it's like, how do you rally a team to then continue to pursue and try to do the right thing? It's tough.
Right.
Well, I mean, and you have to give kudos where it's due, right? You have all these different agencies working together or trying to. I mean,
Right.
fuck.
And you know how hard that is, right? Different channels,
Yep.
different everything. The communications
Yeah.
is trying to tell us what they're saying, what they're doing. We want to know who's where, what's going
Yeah.
on. Like, it's a mess.
Well, you have different policies, different procedures.
Priorities.
And typically, you know, things are very similar. But I mean, if you have an agency that's got 10 guys versus 500
Yeah.
guys, you know, it's
Right.
it's a different mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
And DV calls themselves are inherently just super dangerous.
Yeah.
Right. We've seen an uptick in ambushes. We've seen the violence towards PD has just been
It's like escalating.
astronomical.
Speaking from the like police or fire and EMS side too, like that's a weird one for just us, you know. We like ambo jockeys, you know, for like the negative term for EMS, but it's like that's weird for us, you know, is like being attacked on scene.
Yeah.
Lately, some medics have been killed, you know, just
Yeah.
doing their job. We don't have weapons, you know, we don't have any of that stuff. You know, you get 12 gauge needle maybe. You can do a little stabbing, you
Stab
know.
the shit out of somebody.
But you know, it's just it's wild. It's wild to be on an ambulance these days and wonder, am I being set up for some sort of violent act? You know, it's bizarre.
Did you guys
10 years ago that wasn't a
Did
thing.
you guys get outfitted with like vests and stuff like that?
We have flak jackets and stuff. Yeah, we have bulletproof.
All right, because I
Just
know
for
I know
shooting.
Mesa did that.
Mhm.
We did all the training with them. You know, and they didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I get it. Whatever. It's not fun to throw on a fucking flak jacket on top of your normal gear or whatever. It just doesn't make sense.
It's also not fun to get shot. So
Yeah,
I know.
No,
I was like,
I get it. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah, I know
totally
what
get
you
that too. But it's just like it's the idea of like having to throw that shit on. It's very foreign to you guys.
well, it's just reality, you know. So anyway, getting back to the
Yeah. I mean, but there's so many parts to that like you think, I think the outside looking in, you see first responders showing up, right? Cops that are there. You don't really think about all the fire guys that had to show up, like what a crazy mess that's going to be. The AMBO people, right? You've got the communications people dealing with all the different agencies. But then after the dust settles, right, you have detectives coming out to process scenes. You have crime scene techs coming out. And these people they're on shift. Their days went from like wherever they were supposed to get off to now it's a much longer day. And they have to go home to their families. And their families are like, what is happening? Because
Yeah.
I know like when something goes down in Phoenix, in fact, there was one of the shootings that happened yesterday.
Well, two.
Was on the news, right?
Two.
Yes, but the one that Phoenix was involved in, like, I'm reading the paper, or not the paper, looking at it on my phone, and I'm seeing the pictures, and I'm like, well, shit, my husband drives a vehicle like that. Clearly, these are a specialty unit out there, right? So I'm like texting him, like, are you with this? Are you a part of this? Like, what?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, wait, I can actually just look to see if he's there or not. But my first response was, are you there? With a screenshot of what I'm looking at, right? But so all of these families, right, regardless of what role their spouse plays in or their parent is a part of, these
Yeah.
kids are seeing it. They all have social media. They're seeing all the news of all these things happening. It's hard. It's hard on everybody.
So from the call side, dispatch side, like how technical is it to get all these different channels to talk together? All the different encryptions, like, because now, I mean, 7 agencies, like I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, that's a lot. In some agencies, so like a call like this, you're gonna start off on like PSAP, right? Which is your channel that like all agencies can talk on, like fire, PD, you name it, they're all on PSAP. But you don't want that. You don't want to take up space on PSAP. So then you have to get with all these different agencies and make sure, like for like Mesa, Phoenix, like let's move everybody to an HDEC, right? So that's going to be encrypted. You can work on it like privately and you're not like taking up PSAP space. But sometimes agencies don't have access to these HDECs, and it's like maybe the smaller agencies. And so everybody might be on an HDEC, but then you've got like so-and-so just talking to you on the phone or like over the PSAP every now and then. And it's like, it's rough. Like it's not one single dispatcher can work an incident like this. Like they've got to have like maybe 2 other dispatchers like backing them up. Big incidents like this, we would have at Phoenix, we'd have 2 dispatchers on one thing, and one would just be scribing literally everything, so that the one working it, who's also scribing, if they missed something, they could, they had an extra set of ears. So yeah, this is a pretty crazy. It takes a little bit. I'm going to say it takes like a good half hour to an hour to get everybody on the same page.
Wow.
Which is even crazier now when you're talking about in the moment,
Right.
active shooter.
Yeah. It's rough. It's chaos.
Because when you're out there, right, those seconds feel like hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know when we're on scene of a critical patient, whether it's, just a citizen or, God forbid, a police officer or something, when you're waiting for that second unit to come in and back you up for more hands, many hands make small work,
Mm-hmm.
Man, when someone's struggling to breathe or they don't have a pulse or something, like those 30 seconds, 2 minutes by yourself feels like an eternity,
And where's the trying to find the right, like the difference between working on average Joe citizen to suspect now to cop or fellow firefighter, like where's the mind shift in all that stuff?
Well, yeah, it's wild. They always say you don't want to be the first responder or the firefighter that has to respond to the car accident that your family's in, right? Like, you don't want to know the people in the car. And at Gila River Fire, I worked with a couple community members who had to respond to their own family members, and they were ineffective on these scenes, but they wanted to be the most effective member. You know what I mean? So, like, work on your family's the worst, followed by probably a first responder that's wearing some sort of uniform that matters. And that can even be, I ran one car accident one time where it was just a couple kids from RTO, but they were in uniform. They were going to some, and I think we just had a broken arm. I mean, everybody was okay, but even that was unsettling, So every time you kind of get closer and closer to your own circle, it gets more and more difficult to perform effectively. Now, the other side of that is having to treat the dirtbag. Here you are, you've listened to the radio traffic, you've listened moment to moment what this individual has done, the chaos they've caused, the harm they've caused, and all the citizens, all the first responders that they've affected today. And now they've got a wound, and you not only have to be the most professional, God forbid you forget to put that tourniquet on too late, because that's going to be used in the case. God forbid you don't do all the treatment that you have to. You better get that 12 lead, better get that blood glucose, better get you better show this individual the best possible care you could. Otherwise, it might look like you're not doing what you should have done, and now this person has a case. You know what I mean? And that can be very difficult. I mean, never in my career, never in my time as a fire captain, firefighter, or paramedic have I seen any team not do the most good they can for a person when they're struggling and they're injured. But you might see the, less gentle, give me your arm. We need this IV. Give me, rather than like, okay, we're going to start this IV now, There's a little bit less patience with a person like that for sure. And that's the most honest way of saying it. I would never say that we're obviously treating this person with the highest possible care, because we have to, knowing what they've done today and knowing how close this scene is going to be looked at. But the patience just isn't there for people at that level. We just got nothing.
I wouldn't blame anybody.
But I mean,
we're still human.
Yeah.
It still is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're having to save somebody's life and they just try to kill half of the fucking world, or did, yeah, you're like, yeah, that's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, it's hard to. I've only treated patients who have assaulted police officers. A punch to the face. Maybe tripped.
Yeah.
Never anything more severe than that, I can only imagine. But I also know that you've got to be on your game when you get the patient, when you get the bad guy. You better give the best possible care of your life up to that person, because this is going to be looked at.
And then when you look at Flagstaff, right? So most of us all worked urban areas, right? Flagstaff's a little bit different, right? We're dealing with rural areas, wooded areas. So now your level of darkness just went up crazy high.
Yeah, and you guys know as well as I do, cops are firefighters don't like to go into non-lit areas unless it's a fire.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like, that's the nature of the beast out there. Is like you have house, trees, forest, all this other stuff. God knows what was out there.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard.
I think too, like another point of view, you're talking about like treating the bad guy, but like from experience, like when you're treating one of your own, it's like, it's traumatic, right? But I think it's just like amplified even more. Like everybody on scene is just like, I can't even explain it. I mean, you guys all probably know exactly what I'm talking about, but it's just like the emotions are high. Normally we're very like professional and like we have our system and we're really good at our job. But then it's like the minute it's one of our own, it's like everybody's just like, I can't even explain it.
It's not even tunnel vision because it isn't tunnel vision. It's just like
your emotions are on or something.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in tunnel vision situations before where it's like I'm not seeing the entire picture the way I should.
Yeah.
But when you're treating somebody that is important to you, I'm not missing the details, but I'm so involved with the details. It's hard to march forward in the way that I need to. Yeah. You know, it's like you want to make sure you're doing everything possibly correctly. It almost slows you down. You know, almost takes too long to get to the end zone when it comes to treating patients and things that are of importance.
Do you think it actually takes longer, or do you think mentally you just feel like it takes longer because you want the hurry up and be okay, hurry up and get them set, hurry up and...
I think when I have treated people that I've cared about, and cared about sounds bad, but I mean, you know, when it's more than just the average citizen, I think more often than not, my treatment could have been better. Not because I do a terrible job, but because just like you're saying, your emotional output it's a little hardwired. You know, you're kind of heavily involved in the call, and so you're slowing down. You're forgetting the smoothness. All of a sudden, you're setting up this IV and you're picking things up 2 or 3 times. You know what I mean? Rather than just there's just an IV here.
Right.
Like, why am I grabbing for the alcohol prep before I put on the tourniquet? Like, why? You know. But you're just doing little things like that are slowing you down a little bit because you're worked up.
Yep.
So.
Do you tend more to get like the tunnel vision, or does your vision open up wider?
With people that I care about, tunnel vision. With dirtbags, big picture, almost looking at too many things. You know, it has the same effect of slowing you down, has the same effect of being challenging, but almost through two different mechanisms. If you were going to give me, if I was responding to my son who's having an allergic reaction or something, like that's to say, that would be awful. I mean, there's almost no way I'd be able to get through that as I know all the steps. I could tell the medic what they need to do, but if I had to be the one to do it, God forbid. Now, if I'm treating the asshole that gave my kid the peanut butter, knowing that he's allergic to peanut butter, wanting to see what would happen. Let's say this kid let's say he's a high school kid who just thought it'd be a funny joke, right? And he got pepper sprayed, let's say, but that would also be difficult because now I have to do everything I possibly can for this person that was trying to hurt somebody that I cared about. But at the same time, like I was saying, you're gonna want to do those steps in the most diligent and careful way possible so that it can't come back on you that you know have an invested interest in making sure this person doesn't get the care they needed, right? Yeah. So it's almost like you got to do a better job the more closely tied to the situation that you are. So.
The other crazy part when you look at an incident like this is who takes primary.
Right.
Because usually like if you have a municipal agency, right? Let's say my agency, Mesa, gets in a shooting, county is going to oversee that shooting, or a neighboring city will, like Gilbert might, you know, their team might come out and investigate it. But if you have literally every agency that's up there
involved,
plus the state agency who oversees everything, you know, DPS.
Egos.
Dude, it's crazy.
Egos.
Like,
well, yeah,
I don't
but
even
now
know
they
who
have
takes
like major crimes for DPS will take all of those now.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, because usually you try to be unbiased by having a different agency who's doing everything to make sure everything was done procedurally. But yeah, if you have the big kahuna, how do you do that? Do you have an out of state?
Do the feds come in?
Well, I don't know. That's literally.
I don't think so. I
don't think we've had a shooting like this in a while.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think major crimes is still taking it, and you know, I think at the end of the day, we trust that they're going to do
Oh,
an
yeah.
unbiased job.
And that's
right?
that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, procedurally, like things
Yeah.
obviously get put to be fair on
Yeah.
somebody else to where it's
Who makes
outside.
that decision? Is it all the head people from all departments and they're like,
Flip a coin.
Not it. Everyone's like, not
Everybody's
it.
got a
I
little
don't want to write that
little
paper.
straw.
I'll do a supplement.
They're like, I'm gonna be over here.
Right.
So then, all right. So we had obviously the big crazy incident in Flagstaff.
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix had 2, right? So DPS was serving search warrants. So you had a trooper get shot and 2 get injured.
Yeah.
Right? But everybody's okay, right? And then you had the fugitive apprehension team for Phoenix. Like you were saying, they got into one for a female who had a homicide warrant.
Right. Yep.
Coolidge.
Coolidge had the machete guy. A DV
That's
related
legit.
situation, right? Out front
That's
of their.
not.
Out
Are you
front
surprised?
Well, yes and no. I'm surprised that I haven't heard the people saying like, "Well, why'd you shoot him? He just had a machete, right?"
Just
like
a
that
machete.
right?
I'm
like
sorry, have
that
you seen
nonsense.
any
Let me
jungle
take
movie
my
ever?
machete out of the trunk real
Yeah.
quick, and we'll go at it. Like,
Let's
it's so
go
stupid,
be
but
friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, who brings a machete to a gunfight?
That guy.
I'm just saying.
Well, how did that go for him?
At the very least, people don't operate like they do in movies. So when he gets shot, he's over. He's done. It's not one of these guys just
and
keep
that
going.
happened like right outside the PD, so I'm sure that was traumatic for all the people inside, whether you were on the radio.
Yeah.
And it's a super small agency. My sister used to be a dispatcher, or she might actually still be a dispatcher.
You should text her.
You should text her.
Oh
You
my god!
should
I
catch
did.
up to your sister.
Oh my god! I forgot.
How
that
long
she
was the
worked
machete?
there.
Do you know your sister's name?
Yes. Oh my gosh!
Just
I
making
can't
sure.
believe I forgot.
Yeah.
Normally she would say.
She's like, "Oh
something
my
to
god,
me.
I have a sister."
I totally didn't think
Relatable.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, there was that, and then who else? What else?
I haven't seen it on the news.
The
Maybe
surprise?
it's my husband,
Chandler.
Zach texted
Yes.
me. Was there Chandler?
Yes,
Yep.
it was
He
Chandler.
did say they had smoked somebody last night.
Yeah, Arizona Ave and Riggs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a heavy spot right there.
Is it? I was like, that's an Arizona Ave and Riggs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've been there. Wait, is that like no. I was like Chandler Heights area.
No, it's like that. Like if you follow the valley around. So I used to work at Gila River Fire, and one of our first due areas was like literally 40 minutes away from our station because we would have to transverse all of the reservation, actually come on to Gilbert for about 5 miles, just to turn the corner around this mountain and get to like this quarter-mile strip that was still native land. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
So you're kind of
Super quick response.
Yeah. you're like deep into that area where it's like just about to be Gila River, but just kind of inside of Gilbert, so or Chandler. So
that's where it was.
yeah, I think so.
Oh no, I was thinking of Fry, Arizona Avenue Fry. That's all.
Okay, Fry and Riggs
That's all
are-
gang area right there.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
I think Riggs is all like.
That's why I thought Chandler Heights.
Hoity-toity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was
It's
so
right
off.
at you have Sun Lakes on one side, Chandler on the other, and
Yeah,
the Reds
so-
down
Sun
south.
Lakes
Yep.
is a nice area.
Some more community homes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot to happen in 24 hours. I mean, we talk about it all the time. Usually, if there's a police shooting, it comes in threes.
Threes.
Waves of threes. Everything's in threes.
Okay, well, what about like, what do we have?
Well, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Is like, is this the course of the 3 plus 2 extra, or is this the second 3 and we're gonna have one more?
It just, I don't know.
You know, it's
Maybe
hard
it's
to find
per
out.
area in Arizona. I don't know. It's been rough.
Either way.
Well, even like
It's crazy.
Gilbert's a pretty sleepy area, and they've had these crazy like homicides.
Yes, totally.
Like what? There's like a bad batch of crack. That's all I could think.
It's the fluoride. It's the fluoride in the water.
Well, then we should pull it out.
Yeah, I think in a way you kind of got to sit back after everything that happened in 24 hours and damn, it could have been worse. I mean, there's a lot that happened,
That's
right?
true.
I mean,
at the end of the day, yes.
I get so tired of saying, well, it could have been worse, but like honestly, this could have been
Right.
could have been a much more difficult morning to wake up to. It still is a
It
hard
is,
one,
right.
But like you're saying, in a lot of these incidences, many of our own are still okay, you know?
Yeah. But the thing is we have a lot of acquaintances that know somebody who knows somebody
Right.
who's like, I went to the academy with this guy, or I used to work with this person, whatever. So it's like, there's a whole other spectrum of people that are being affected by it, which is crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's not just the people on the incident.
Mm-hmm.
It's affected basically everybody as a whole. I got a bunch of texts yesterday where they're like, I went to paramedic school with one of the guys on the helicopter. Or we have a friend who works for DPS, and he was like, I knew him extremely well. And they're like absolutely gutted by this. And it's like, I know there's a lot more people.
Yeah. And then, like I said, I wanted to touch on the family part of it because they often get overlooked when these things happen, especially because their husband or spouse did come home. So they should be okay or grateful that they came home. But
it's the close call that gets them, right?
And you got to send them out the next day to do the same job. And, you know,
the same
thing.
And
I totally get that. But we have to support everybody that's still doing the job. Right. Mm-hmm. We have to be able to be like, hey, we still believe in you. Right. All those things. Because is it scary? I mean, yeah. I mean,
it just makes
it's a
real.
Helicopter, right? It's a helicopter. But we saw car accidents every day. We all drive cars.
Right.
You know, we have to still function as a society. And I'm not downplaying any of that. Please, I'm not trying to be insensitive. But we have to be able to give the support to the people to be able to get back to the work that they love doing.
No, but I appreciate the point you're making there, because when it comes to if you talk to a physicist, right, they're always trying to break something down into its critical components, you know, and it's like, you're right, at the end of the day, the helicopter is just a motorized vehicle that had a breakdown, crash, but we get run on car accidents all the time. You know what I mean? So in large measure, you take away the sexiness of it being a helicopter, and it's a broken down vehicle that need to be responded to, and that is exactly how a fire crew would look at it, bare bones, what's going on, how we're going to influence this situation, you know. Got to set up a hot zone, a warm zone, a cold zone, got to see how big the incident is, got to see how many people need treatment, got to get the resources on scene we need to get for this type of incident, which is a crashed vehicle, you know, and that is exactly how to look at it. And then you can get into like the craziness of all the differences later. But during the actual event, you just got to figure out what's going on and how you're going to affect it. How you're going to change the situation.
The video of it's fucking wild.
I haven't seen the video.
It's crazy. It drops. It's not like a spinning like malfunction. It just drops.
Wow.
Like
Dark Horse posted the video.
Okay.
It's fucking wild.
That's interesting. So my best friend is dating the pilot that trains all these law enforcement guys to fly. And his assessment right off the bat, I mean, obviously it could change, but he was like, I think it might have been like an altitude problem. Just because they're more up north. He's like, it was either like somebody, like they got shot down because he knew maybe it was like a shooting, but he brought up like the altitude being up in Flagstaff maybe had something to do with it.
It's true, because they came from Kingman. So, I mean, there's still altitude, but you're talking a much different altitude. So,
And so far, we've done everything. We talk about firefighters, cops, but you're right. There are pilots. Pilots are going to be affected by this whole thing, you know? It's a whole other industry of people that are going to be affected by what happened.
Well, let's talk about everybody else now. So you brought up the fire EMS side, dispatch, obviously police side, but now you have crime scene technicians have to come in, and I wouldn't even know where to begin on a crime scene like that, because you have 9 agencies,
right?
A helicopter, multiple homes, God knows how many rounds were shot. I wouldn't even know.
The size
like
and scope.
You're like, I need every crime scene technician.
Yeah.
Like,
you got to think about the weight on them too. Like we have on our peer support team, we have somebody like that, and she was talking about responding to when AJ's officer was killed. She said it was like one of the hardest things that she'd ever done. Yeah. So imagine now all these crime scene specialists.
And not that they wouldn't do the most professional job ever, but now
they're emotionally
it is an emotional difference, because you're like, I need to make sure this is everything, is 100%. And not saying they wouldn't do that 100%, but it feels heavier.
It's the same kind of what we were talking about earlier. It's just it's like the air is more thick. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just that heavy feeling you feel. You're still doing your job. You're just like, ugh.
And after every incident you run, you know you're going to fill out a paperwork, some bullshit report that says what your unit did and why you were there and what you found, right? But eyes are going to be on these reports. There are going to be big time officials looking at whatever documentation you're responsible for in the incident. Someone's going to be reading it. Someone's going to be. So that added pressure. It's added pressure to make sure that you do everything correctly and that you get your reporting right. And that itself is very stressful to know that now's the time you're most stressed out.
Well, and all of these people aside, right, the majority of these people all had to go back to work yesterday, or today. Yeah. There's no like decompressing from it. You're up there late because you have that report you need to finish at the end of it, needs to get done, and then you got to show up the next day and do it all over again.
Sure.
And still carry that weight, but now you're adding to it whatever the day is going to bring.
And that's why we're here.
Yeah. Well, and then you have short staffing, right. So you're probably having to borrow people from other agencies to come fill in, if that's even a possibility.
Right.
And that's that's always easy for the people that are working. You have to now train this other person outside agency to help you do your job that day. That's always super easy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild.
Yeah.
Couldn't even imagine. But yeah, luckily, one of our co-founders was up there, was able to act as soon as possible to try to get resources started, and hopefully our team will be able to help out more and do other things, which is cool. It's very disheartening that we have this evil that's still out there that's affecting people this way. Like, what is it going to stop?
It won't.
It won't.
I mean, it won't.
I think I've just accepted that.
Yeah. It sucks, though.
I mean, police, fire, EMS, dispatch is tasked with upholding some level of safety and security for the communities that we serve. And it hasn't escaped any of our attentions that our society has just been getting more and more destabilized by the very people that live within them. And so it just feels like this, quote, evil, it's just in everybody, whatever's in the water right now is causing certain fabrics of our society to be less and less trustworthy, more and more volatile. And first responders are the ones that are tasked with cleaning that up. It's tough out there.
And I'm going to try to tread this lightly. I'm all about our rights in civil rights, all that stuff, right? That's why we took the jobs that we took to uphold those rights for people. You have the right to protest, you have the right to question, you have the right, freedom of speech, all the things, right? I don't have a problem with those. It's when these things are taken to a much further level than they need to go. And now all these emotions are coming into it, because we could all exist in society without the emotional aspect of it, like where we're affecting each other, and be perfectly fine. But when we start adding the emotional, heated, just whatever, like, it's getting stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if the Charlie Kirk incident happened out of our state, right? But how many first responders were affected by that even, and he had a base here in Arizona. Now, I could only imagine if something like that happened while I was on duty and I was responsible for, responding to him. I mean, I first thing I thought of was the fire crew or the medics that had to treat him in front of all those people. And their treatment protocols are going to be scrutinized as well. They obviously did a fantastic job, but I can't imagine being responsible for something that's going to be that visually seen by the public. It's a lot.
Yeah. I had some friends when I worked out in California that actually responded to Michael Jackson, and they they all showed up, realized it was Michael Jackson.
The
And
one
they
where he
went,
burned his face? The one where he burned...
no, like he was dead. It
Oh! I talking about the Pepsi
What do you mean he
commercial.
died?
He's dead?
No, it was when he died.
No,
And they
wild.
found him. And so he said that we all walked in and we went, nope, shoot, we got to do our job.
Yeah.
And so then they take him into the hospital and all the nurses and doctors went, nope. Like they didn't want to touch him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it kind of runs through my head. We're like, damn it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I have to do my job, but I don't want to because this is going to be looked at and, you know, it's hard.
Now you got me all bummed out.
About Michael Jackson, you didn't know?
I don't
No. Sorry.
A movie's coming out about him.
Really?
Yeah. Like a full-on movie.
Now you gonna be at the premiere?
He probably is.
You looking for a date?
I'm one of the actors. Yes, always.
You'll be that couple in the back of the theater.
Oh boy.
I'm not afraid to show our affection.
We know.
Yeah.
Very obvious.
We know.
PDA.
PDA, you're all about it. I get it.
What the world needs more of is love. Anyway, that's what we're talking about. That's the whole theme of the show, and you
John
guys are
Lennon.
scrutinizing us.
I mean, sure, yeah. As long as your wives are okay with it.
You're stifling our bromance.
I support it fully.
Yeah, just like that big, tall glass of whatever.
Water.
Your mini bottle.
I left my water in the car, okay?
I'm hydrating.
Yeah. I'm very hydrated. This is going to last me at least 2 weeks, if you're one of those.
So, along with what's happening in the world, craziness and all that other stuff, there's still good work that's being done, right? We still have a lot of first responders that love doing their job, are going out there every day, even though they're tasked with having to face that brick wall of just hate and discontent and all that other stuff. Like, I couldn't imagine being in these states like Minnesota or something like that, where everything is just a complete shit show, and
All the time, and you're hated no matter what you're doing.
Yep.
Well, I mean, there's like, there's like cops that are just like arresting like straight pedophiles and people are attacking them and they're like, that's a pedophile. And people are like, well, I hate you because I hate ICE too. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine.
And it's hard enough being a first responder under a leadership, no matter where you're at, right? Your leadership is gonna. But in these dynamic, difficult situations where you're having to fully trust your leadership, and you know these responders that are dealing with the larger picture instances that are going on right now are rolling their eyes at some of the things that their leadership is asking them to do or requiring them to do.
Right.
So they're having to take on all these new, fresh, weird, bizarre orders and tasks. Meanwhile, they're emotionally distressed and upset just like anybody else. But it's like, working under a large banner can always be difficult. And then when that banner itself is being tested and you're being asked to do more and more while things are going haywire, it's just very difficult. I can imagine, like you said, having to be at that state right now. And
It's got to be scary to think too, like you could be doing your job and following policy exactly and your department might not defend you still.
Yes, that
Right?
happens a lot.
They might,
Great
one, let
point.
you go to jail, two, they're going to let you get slammed in the news and
that's a
whatever
great
just so
point.
that they look okay. And that has got to be a sickening feeling.
What the thing that I find weird is now agencies are putting out like these disclaimers,
Right.
like publicly, like,
Oh,
we support the
would
protests
never-
and this.
yeah.
Like, I'm like, what?
Stop, guys,
Why?
stop trying to be politically
Why?
correct.
Why are we doing this? Like,
yeah,
if people are law-abiding citizens and following rules, there's nothing you have to condone. It's just law-abiding citizens.
yeah, it feels like back in, I don't know, what was it, like 2020, 2021, when companies were giving us their stances on things. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to buy a burrito.
Yeah,
Like,
like, I don't care. I don't care.
Here's our disclaimer.
yeah, like, okay.
I don't care.
Well, it's like if you're on social media too and you see these big influencers, like people are like, why haven't you spoken out against whatever? And it's like, they're just trying to tell you like what kind of tacos are good in Arizona. Who cares how they believe?
Right.
Like if they're recommending good tacos, then great. But why do they need to speak out? Who cares?
Well, and if you're trying to figure out your political views based on of an actor's or some famous person, like whatever their views are, you're probably way behind the curve anyways.
And you got
which is crazy.
I don't know. It's just crazy. Everything's crazy. I don't like it. I mean, I don't like sending. My husband goes to work every day. He works he works with nothing but violent offenders. It's a little more strategic on their part. But the alternative is go back to patrol, where now you're the first responder. So it's like, I hate it. And you've got Zach, right? So it's just like, there's no, I don't know. It's heavy all the time, I think.
I think so. You just like, I don't know.
But that's what makes you guys good at what we're doing here at Afterwatch, is that you guys have not only your own past careers, but you have invested skin in the game with the people that you love and care about. You know, they're still out there doing the job. And, you know, so far, Arizona has been doing okay. But it feels like, doesn't it feel like a year from now, this podcast might be different? Like
you never, well, yeah.
You know,
I mean, things change so
you know,
rapidly.
like we might be talking about a real incident here in our state at some point, you know.
God forbid.
God forbid.
No, and I really commend you guys for allowing your spouses to be a part of this, because I mean it's heavy, right? I mean, you're allowing them to do what they enjoy versus being selfish and saying it's either me or them.
I mean, I've had selfish moments. I'm not going to lie.
I'm not saying you're not
selfish
entitled
moments
to have those thoughts.
Sorry. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I've
But
definitely
there
been
are
there.
spouses that will put that ultimatum.
And it's super frustrating for me, because I get it. I know the love of it, right? I want to be in it. I want to do it. When I was doing it, I wanted to. But now that to me, it seems like there's more risk involved with him doing it. I don't know. It just seems more risky, because now I'm not doing it, and like I want you to come home every day.
Sure.
Versus like if we were both out there doing it. I don't know. To me it's different. It's just total different mindset for me, from being the cop to now being the spouse.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I was just going to say, that gives you direct insight as to what these spouses go through. Like, my wife has never been a first responder, you know, but she's had to be the single parent when I've done the 72-hour shifts. She's had to watch the news and know when I'm responding to this incident. You know what I mean? So
it's a shit show on this side. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know how before,
because you can't do anything.
Right.
You're literally just on standby all the time. Whereas when you're the first responder, you feel like because you're on scene you can influence it. Let's be honest, we really don't most of the time. But you know, we're just picking up the pieces of what's happened, right? But you just forever get to sit and wait for the bad news.
Right.
You just, you know, that's just your forever position. You're just
and
waiting.
I try to be like, right, I understand, right, I believe in the training. I believe he's adequately trained for his job. I don't think he is going to do anything that's going to put him at more risk. But at the same time, I'm still like, I don't know. It's still just, it's an unsettling feeling, especially when there's so much happening. I think it just makes it seem a lot more unsettling when the news is just popping with one incident after another. It's
like something you just like keep back here. You know what I mean? You're just like, don't really want to face that head on, and it's like the news, and you're like, I don't want to think about that. But I agree. Like, you do trust in their training and their abilities and all that. You know, one of the things I worry about all the time is how is something going to affect him mentally. You know what I mean? Because it's like, we've come so far. I don't want any more setbacks.
Right. And I think we had that conversation where I was like, listen, I get you. In your mind, you're safe, right? You know, you're tactically trained to do this, and you're going to do it. You've been doing it for this long, and you know what you're doing. Yeah. Totally get it. But every day you go out there, you're still adding to that box, right? And that box at some point doesn't close, and you still are dumping more shit. Yeah. So even if it's not these major critical incidents happening, you're still responding to shit that's filling your bucket. And and you have to deal with those things.
And the wives are the ones that are like unpacking it for them, because they're not going to do it.
Right.
It's true.
That's a good point.
So
just imagine if you guys were working.
How do you
right?
How do you unpack your box, Patrick? Need help unpacking your box?
Veronica, it's time to take our It's going to get hot in here.
I call Josh over.
I bet you do.
He brings the hooligan
I don't know what that means, but
Pull it out short.
no, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Oh, jeez. I think we should have just an hour of how uncomfortable we could make her feel.
It's like, I don't even care that it's like gay. It's like, look, even if two straight people were just like, I'd just be like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
I'm gonna want that clip right there. I don't even care that it's gay. I'm gonna want that audio.
It's just
clip.
like PDA in general. I'm like, ugh. Like, I know I wasn't hugged as a child. Okay, like I understand that that's what's coming up right now, but no affection whatsoever.
So we're gonna get you a referral for guided journey.
It's okay. Zach already wants me there.
Ooh, we should talk about that.
Yes, let's do that.
Oh, did you do guided?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah. So
Josh
We're
was there.
gonna
He
segue.
spooked the
We're
whole
gonna
time.
Yes.
Segue. All right, this is the
So,
smoothest segue
you
ever.
got to meet Stacy and
Yep.
All right. So they do their protocol a little bit different with the therapy aspect of it, right? There is a difference between the psychotherapy and just talk therapy or coaching through a guided ketamine journey. What's cool about what these gals do is they get you all set up for it. So there's a couple sessions of intent, what you're going to do, what are some of the problems that you might be facing, that kind of stuff. And then when you actually do the dosing, they literally take notes minute by minute of what your body's doing, whether you're saying something, jerking around, moving, shifting, swallowing, sneezing, whatever. Or you could just be talking. Like I've heard people get up and just like start acting out events that they were dealing with, whatever. I froze in the chair because I took a super high dose, but
Sounds incredible.
it's pretty wild. And then they give you like this 3-page thing of like everything that you do.
Oh, cool.
And then you do integration the day after. And that's when I started having some of the dreams and stuff like that. And then you really break down the dreams. Like any dream that you have, put that shit in AI. Like literally it'll tell you what your body's trying to tell you.
Oh man, I have some fucked up dreams every day.
It just
every
responds
day.
fucked up.
Tell
Yes.
us
I
about the
know.
last fucked up dream you can remember.
Oh gosh, my dreams are super bizarre
put it in.
always.
Yeah, put it in AI.
So the one I can this is how it works. Normally I will have a fucked up dream. I wake up and I'm like, wow, that was awful. Like they're always really mean. And then it's almost like as I'm thinking about it all, it just like gone. And I remember just bits and tiny pieces of them if I remember anything.
Give us something.
So yesterday morning I woke up and my dream was that my son was little and we were wherever we were living, there was like a park in front or something, and we walked out and I happened to notice like a black bear, and I was like, oh well, that's not good, there's gonna be a mom,
that's gonna come up on
right? And
the
so then I
response.
turn around and I was like, oh, there's mom, how do I get my kid quietly over so we don't get
two
mauled
moms,
by bears?
just two moms trying to protect their
trying
kids.
to get out.
And then
I'm gonna
like,
fight a bear.
And then I remember however we made it, we got back into the house, and I remember putting a chair under the door handle to prevent it from coming in.
I'm loving this. This is gonna be a
That was
great
literally
response.
That's so funny.
I just get cheated on every night in my dreams.
Oh damn,
Dude, I
Yeah,
wake up
no.
and Zach's like, did I cheat on you again? I'm like, yeah, bitch, apologize. You know, like,
What's that bitch's name?
who is she? It's Patrick.
So what we're getting from you is that you
not
weren't
cheating.
hugged, and you're afraid of being cheated on, honestly.
I'm afraid of probably abandonment, or I don't know, probably something cheesy like that.
I had a dream. This is when I was working as a firefighter still for my agency. And, I mean, look, we had staffing issues. So, I mean, it was a regular occurrence to be told I was working 72 hours or even 96. The longest shift I ever worked was 5 days straight, right? And so I felt like firefighters typically work 10 days a month at my agency for at least 3 or 4 years after COVID hit till I left on medical injury. I don't know, probably 13, 14 days a month, you know? Anyway, I remember having this dream one night. I was with my wife at a restaurant, and she was across, just like you. I'm gonna envision you're my wife right now. This is really gonna help me settle in. This is great. Okay, so I'm looking up at my beautiful spouse, and they're smiling at her, holding hands, and then I would look down at all my work stuff. You know, I just had all this firefighter stuff, and
weird.
it was all just
restaurant?
symbolism. Yeah.
Okay.
All just whatever it was in my dream, just represented work. And then I looked up, and she was 10 years older, and I appreciated her, and I looked at her, and I smiled at her, and then I looked down again, and I got busy. And then I looked up again, and she was older.
So you're missing out on her life because
and
of work.
I just totally remember that dream, and I remember waking up and still having kind of the goosebumps. And I even woke her up, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" that dream is not going to happen, right? So
It's great. All right, so
I love this.
ChatGPT says you're fucked up. All right, no. So all right, so your
And
son.
that was like a good dream.
so
To be fair, that was a good one.
your son being little gives you vulnerability protection. Role as of a protector must be intense for you, that kind of thing. The park is usually openness, freedom, everyday life type stuff, so you're feeling in a safe space. The black bear cub symbolizes power, instinct, danger, and something primal.
That makes sense as a mother.
Yep. Putting the chair under the door is a clear protector response. So you're obviously trying to protect your son from the primal danger that was out there.
And maybe in the openness of the world.
So this dream strongly centers on protectiveness and responsibility. You notice a threat early, and your instinct is immediate containment and not confrontation, but shielding.
Oh, I love
So
that.
you want to know, okay, so the bizarro part of all this is my son's getting ready to graduate high school, right? Go off to college, and he's been talking rushing. And I'm just like, oh no, like all the things that I hear. And so one of the things, I would say one of a very traumatic call that I went on, I think I was just a patrol officer at the time, but it was a house party. And there was an 18-year-old kid, good boy, right? Grew up, never did anything, graduates high school. Now he's part of the college scene. He goes to this party, one of the first parties he's been to, and he gets trashed. And he ends up dying by asphyxiation, right? Like he throws up and he sleeps in it and he dies. I show up at the party because some random kid was dropping someone else off and overheard them say, "Oh, that kid's not breathing." And he runs in to see. There's a house full of people. I show up and the party's still going. People just like nothing. And I'm thinking like, is this for real, right? And I run through the garage and I'm like, where is he? And everyone's looking at me like, what? No one's, first of all, no one's even like, oh, we're all underage and drinking.
They're like, who invited the
They're
stripper?
too fucking They start the music and she's like, well, hold on, where's the kid?
Sorry.
Oh my God,
Sorry.
So I run in the house and I'm like, where is he? You know, and somebody's like, oh, maybe that front room. And I'm like, what the, how is everyone so nonchalant? And there's literally two kids, two 18-year-old-ish kids, right? The one that's dead and the one that has no affiliation to anybody at this party is just there trying to help this kid that he doesn't know.
Wow.
And it was awful. So I remember like, talk about being a first responder and traumatizing your own children without even realizing you're traumatizing them, right? I would tell my kids like, no, you're not doing these things because I saw this and I don't want this to be you. So I've had that on my mind, and then with my kid deciding he's going to try to do this, and I know what that means. And so then last week we had a kid at NAU, or earlier this week, that was found dead after rushing, right? And so I'm like sending him all the screenshots. I'm like, wow, I am that first responder that just traumatizes my child over and over, but I want him to be informed, right? And so so I don't know, maybe that has something to do with my dream.
Yeah, you just want to protect him. You have that, like, it's literally ingrained in you, and you're like, I got to protect my kiddo, but then you also, your eyes are open to like some of the ugly stuff that happens. So I can
relate to you in that one thing just a little bit, because I'm endlessly talking to my now 13-year-old son about all the ways he's going to die going to get milk at the grocery store, driving a vehicle.
Right.
Like I am endlessly like
he's like, I'm never going to buy milk again.
Car accidents just terrify me.
Yeah.
Because I've seen
So many of them.
in my life, nothing has destabilized more good, wholesome, average, everyday citizens than a vehicle crash, you know? And it's like, for me, that's just like the worst possible thing.
Well, and so one of the things I forgot, we haven't been here since the last time we talked about it, but I went to this first responder conference, and there was a speaker there who talked about coming from a first responder family and her trauma as an adult, like all the things she suffered as a kid that as cops you don't really think that your kids even notice.
Oh, yeah.
And she went into all these things, and I was like, oh my God, that explains my entire life. But then I was like, oh, and I was that parent too,
Yeah,
right?
sure. Yeah.
And so I actually texted my kids that day, and I was like, hey, can you tell me, like, how did my career affect your life? How do you feel my career affected your life positively and negatively? Because in my mind, I always thought my kids were only affected when my injury happened, and now I'm not able to control everything, and I'm not able to take care of them. That was the only thing I ever thought affected my kids. And my kids barely mentioned that. They talked about fear of me not coming home, fear of the bad guys, wanting to get me after during specific cases I was working, me leaving at all times of day and night when I was working homicide. They talked, and they were like, I think some of my anxiety as a kid and as an adult came from always worrying about things that were happening and they never said any of the things, right?
Aww.
Like I had zero clue that how we affected them until I heard the speaker, and I was like, wow, that was me as a kid. I mean, not to her degree, but like just some of the things that were so relatable. And then I was like, oh, hold up, self-reflection, because that's all I've known growing up in it and then becoming it, and I just passed down exactly what I was taught. And so I had never considered what we do to our kids that they don't talk about. Sure. That they feel the tension in the air. They feel because I think I talked about it in the podcast where my daughter wrote that letter, and I was like, oh, haha. Because when I first saw it, I was like, wow, she's being so dramatic. Like, good for her. She's got some great words, right? Oh my God. Like now in hindsight, those were probably very real feelings she was having about noticing my posture when I come in, noticing the stress I'm carrying, hearing the stories that I'm saying, even when I'm not saying them, right? And how that affects them as small kids.
That sucks.
Yeah.
We think we're making them very like hyper aware of everything, and like we're just messing them up. Dang it. Well.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I don't even know how that became a thing.
Start talking about guided journeys and dreams, and
right.
here we are.
I think it's important.
I think it's important too.
Yeah, I think as a parent, you do need to give your kids the opportunity to voice your shortcomings. And I mean that in a positive way, right? Like
100%.
Give them the opportunity to voice it and validate it. Validate it, and don't try to give excuses for it.
After I snapped my knee the second time, and my surgeon made it pretty clear it was going to be like, you probably won't be able to be a hero after this, dude.
You'll always be my hero.
Thanks, man. I remember realizing one day after I told myself what a tragedy this is for the planet that I can't be a captain anymore. Like, oh my God, the world's going to be worse that I can't be a hero anymore. But then it dawned on me one day that, so I have a 13-year-old and 11-year-old. They were 11 and 9 at the time of my injury. And I just remember it occurred to me one day while I was sitting in my chair that they're going to come up to me one day, and they're going to come up to me with a story. Now, I have no idea what that story is going to be, but I know how it's going to be structured. And it's going to be something like, hey, Dad, you were this guy before the injury, and now you're this guy after the injury. Because my knee injury was too big of an event in their lives for it not to hinge on something. And I just remember, like, no matter how good or bad of a father I was before my injury, this knee injury was a moment for me to make the second part of that the best possible story that I could get in retrospect, So that was kind of the moment where I decided this is all going to have to be better for them in the future. I'm going to do everything I can to make that story the best I possibly can get out of the situation, And that was really clarifying for me, because I feel like I was a very involved father who still cared about my kids and who still wanted to be as close to them as I possibly could be. But when you're working 48-hour shifts, 72-hour shifts, you're gone. There's only so much of that you're going to be able to do anyway. And I know there's some things that I neglected as a father at that time in my life. And so
Well, it was
You
just
know,
part of the job, right?
just
Like
part of
when
the
I
job.
would get called out, it was like, okay, I'll see you when I see you.
Yeah.
Like drop them off with my parents, and then it was just like work. And
Yeah, have fun.
That was
Like
the part.
you know, have fun. I want you to have fun, but I can't have it with you right now. I got to go do this other thing that's quote unquote more important.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, just validate.
And they also mentioned to me that they grew up a lot faster than their friends did. And they also were in trouble for things that their friends never got in trouble for because we knew what could happen. So they were punished prematurely for things that could happen that their friends would never even hear about or know existed.
I can see that.
Yeah. I don't want my kid to be oblivious.
Right.
You know, I know some people that are now like adults, young adults, and like I'm like, what? Like they were so shielded, they didn't know that there was any bad in the world, and so now they're experiencing some really terrible things because they're just like, everything's fine, it wouldn't happen to me. So it's like, where do you find that happy medium of like, there's some ugly people in this world, and this is how you avoid them without like ruining or traumatizing the kid.
Well, I think, you know, what you just said there is actually bad heuristics, though, in a lot of ways. Like, okay, you're so happy as an individual that I want to show you that there's another side of the world that
Yeah.
isn't so happy. So I'm going to show you every possible ugly thing.
But you think you're protecting
But you
them.
think you're protecting them. But what's
But
wrong?
you're
What's
just-
wrong with being naive anyway?
just
What's
raising
wrong
it.
with that?
And that's what
for
one of
18
them said
years,
was like,
you know?
one said like, well, in hindsight, like I'm happy because I do know I'm more aware that there are bad people, right? That bad things happen. And then on the other side of it is I wish I was more naive to the things that happen. So it was like,
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think it's just, you know, there's no need to take your kids' innocence away too quickly. But I think as first responders, like as soon as they're in kindergarten, we're like, you're going to be kidnapped unless you listen to me. You know, like
funny though, right?
And you know what kidnappers do to little kids?
In the
Look,
next
that
3
bus
minutes,
driver.
you will be
Let's
taken.
watch this documentary on Epstein at 5 years old.
Right? Yes. No. Like I was the mom that when my kids would go somewhere, I'd be like, okay, first name, last name, parents' names, siblings in the house. Like, what do their parents work? What do they do? Like, I wanted to know everything. This
Get hair
whole read
samples.
up, right?
Literally.
Before I was like, okay, you can go. You know?
Yeah.
My wife wrote for any of you families listening out there, a great tip. If you ever go to like Disneyland or take your kid to a big, write your phone number and permanent marker on your kid's upper arm or something.
Yeah.
My wife did that, right? She just put her phone number on their arms in case we lost him, and sure enough, my little guy Levi, we fucking lost him. And so 5 minutes we're just freaking out. You know what I mean? It was like, oh my God, he's gonna be kidnapped. But you're just far more likely to bump into a good person who wants to help
Yeah.
out. And sure enough, as I'm like panicking around the Tarzan jungle gym, like my wife gets a text from some lady standing 20 feet to the
Oh,
left
that's
of her.
amazing.
It's like, hey, found your son. Where are you? Oh, right there. Levi, get your done. Thank you. You know, but it's just there are far more good people and far more. But we as first responders,
All we see,
good luck.
all we see is
Good-
bad
all we
yeah.
see is the bad people.
But I
I
mean,
think everything is bad.
yeah. So lost my kid, right? Found him. But, you know, as first responders, we're always running to the harm and the things that suck in our communities. But the news is that way too. I mean, the news cycle literally could say every day with a leading headline that says 30,000 people across the world escaped extreme poverty today and are now living, you know, but we just don't focus on all the good, all the nice, all the, if it bleeds, it leads, you know, and it's
The
just,
bad is what gets like attention though. So
I mean, overall, over the last 100, 150 years, people are healthier, happier, living longer
yeah.
than we ever have in for the first time in human history, you are more likely to die of old age than young age. You're more likely to die of overeating than undereating. You're more likely to die of suicide than being murdered. I mean, these are all firsts in human history, ever. And it all shows an improvement of some kind, right? That we aren't burying our children, we're burying our grandparents. You know, we aren't dying from starving. In fact, we eat so much that we're killing ourselves. You know, like these are all improvements in human, you know, civilization. But good luck telling a first responder that, because what are you talking about? I had 5 people get murdered in my community last year. My community's worse this year than it was. Well, I guess, but over the long game, you know, I think it's just important to reflect on that every now and then.
Yeah.
It's a full circle moment. we started this podcast, like, we're just like, man, what the heck is going on?
Right?
And you're like, but listen up. Here comes Josh with his logic, always. You should do this professionally or something.
Right.
Oh, it's a good way to end it.
Yeah.
It's true. There are a lot of good things happening in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we always just focus on the negative shit.
We do. But
I don't
glad-
like it.
No.
Ketamine for everybody.
You need to do it.
Oh, I want to do it.
Just do it.
I guess I don't know what I'm waiting for, honestly.
Are you
More trauma?
Are you
No.
afraid? Are you afraid of it?
No, I'm not. Like, I do want to do it. I don't know if it's just like I'm waiting for like Zach. Like,
For,
we could
like-
do it together.
Look, I might have a vial.
No, not in the
of
same
ketamine.
room, but like we could be like talking about our experiences together. Like, I don't want him to feel behind. I don't know.
Look, I might have a vial of ketamine in my.
Send
In
us
my
both
bathroom.
into the,
The dealer.
K-hole.
He just went from
Look,
Josh.
we don't even need
And
to
then
bring
it's
you
Josh
to-
trying to do it. And he's like, "How are you feeling now?" And we're like just circling the drain.
No, I think for you, do you first. There's no time frame, or like he's
Yeah.
not gonna miss out on anything because
I don't know.
he's got his own shit.
Oh, we know. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's like too, like there's some things you just like don't want to know. Cause like when I first started like EMDR, I was like, I need it for this one situation. And she's like, no, you don't. We're going to talk about some other stuff first. And then she came to me and she's like, you're in this one situation because of your childhood. So now we're going to do EMDR on your childhood. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that because then that's more stuff to unpack. I don't know. And so I think I'm like, I fear like going in and learning something new about myself that I have to deal with.
I feel like what you just said reminds me of
You're
every
gonna be
first
the bearer of bad news.
of every first responder, right? Who somewhat recognizes that they
Sure.
have a problem, but they refuse, right? They're total denial about like, nope, not me. Keep that door closed. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Not me.
Like it's like that closet in your house that you know is like just fucked up in there. And like you know that there's something in there you need and you'll open it and you're like, you know what? I'm good without that. I don't want to deal with this messy closet.
Let me throw this at you.
Oh.
Just this idea.
Okay.
If you were told that you could feel better, be better for you, be better for your kids, your husband, everything else, but you're gonna have to face that closet,
Yeah.
would you do it?
Yeah.
So why
And
not?
I think that's where I'm at now. Where I'm like, then I need to get myself ready. I need energy and time.
That's what's cool about the ketamine protocol is that all of the walls that you're putting up for like regular counseling,
Yeah.
they're gone.
I know.
Your body's like, fuck
You're
it.
vulnerable. Like,
You
I don't
can't
wanna
fight it. I mean, you literally cannot fight it. So your body's going to tell you exactly what needs to face. That's what's cool about it.
You know. I
In
can't-
her defense, though,
Thank you.
We are so far ahead in our own journeys, right? That we can see what is helpful and what would be more helpful. But when you're not that far into it, like my incident was over 10 years ago, right? But when you're still in those baby years of it, like there's a lot of hesitation that comes with what you want to try, what you want to do, what's safe, there's still a lot before I think some people are ready to transition from regular talk therapy type stuff to doing
and
anything.
I'm not disagreeing with that, right?
Sure.
There is steps that need to be made. Like you can't go from 0 to 100 and be like, yeah, I'm fucking cured. Like you have to go through all the process. But
and it takes a lot of energy.
But I was just throwing out, you use that analogy of the closet. Like I get what you did because the closet's the scary part, right?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to find out.
You might find Patrick in that closet.
That's just your house, Josh.
Josh has already pulled me out. But I'm just saying, like, that it is a scary feeling, 100%.
It's overwhelming.
I will tell you, once you let that go, there's a whole new world of something totally different for you, Tori.
know.
And I did hear, and I don't know if it was you or another one of our ketamine users that
We're not users.
Scratch it.
that it's like 10 years of talk therapy in your sessions.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
crazy.
so
It's a lot.
so I do think in that respect, that it is a helpful tool for people to try that are in it, to not have to wait the 10 years to.
It's good. I know it's good. It's just like me, you know.
But that's where I'll pick up on like mindfulness and meditation is like, you know, when you do a psychedelic of some sort, you're strapping yourself to a rocket, you know, like it's going to go somewhere. You just don't know where it's going to go.
Exactly. That's
Whereas
what's scary.
Mindfulness is kind of like raising a sail. You know, it's slow, it's deliberate, but you're going to head in a very calculated direction, you know. But have you ever had like your phone just draining battery? And like you just have no idea why today your battery's already at 15%. And it's because you have some sort of application or some sort of background data running that you can't get to. And it's just draining your phone's ability to keep up with what you need to do that day.
Yeah.
And that is so much of how trauma or certain things act within the mind, is that they're just running in the background. And they're influencing not only the way you're approaching your husband, they're influencing the way you're perceiving situations. You know, they're influencing the lessons that you're going to choose to take away from interactions that you're having throughout your day that are now building the way you're seeing the world and your worldview, and getting to those principles, getting to those roots causes, those applications, those data programs that are running on the back of our minds that we aren't aware of, can really help us be the individual that we want to be, you know, rather than just endlessly letting this circuitry of the mind running on autopilot and we just have no idea. So
What he said.
Exactly. No, I know.
No, I think you will enjoy it. It is wild.
Yeah. I
but
love that
the things
stuff.
that you learn about yourself is pretty enjoyable.
And I think with them, right, like you get the brain map, you get there's a lot more to it than just
Sure. I do
some
love that stuff.
wild ride.
And we can like talk about it a little bit more later, but one of my good friends introduced me to a guy that it's called emotional code. And it's, you know, your body carries trauma, right? And she made me set up an appointment with this guy, and I'm like, this is weird. And so I went into it very like, and like he's talking to me, and then he's like, you're having issues with whatever. I don't remember what it was. It's some physical symptom. I go, yeah. And he goes, yeah, it's from your mother. But your mother has a pretty bad wound from her father. And like, that was very accurate. I'm like, that's crazy. And then he said something like, have you had issues with your left shin? And I'm like, yes, I have. I have pain there all the time. And he goes, that's because of the dental work you had when you were 11. What?
What?
You know, there was this one time we used a psychic to help us try to find and locate a missing person. That's how this moment feels for me.
It's freaking crazy. I'm not kidding.
We did not find the woman.
I'm going to set you guys up with this guy, but I went into it going, this is kind of weird, but then he ended up being like totally spot on. And I talked about it with my own therapist about like my appointment. She goes, that's a form of EMDR though, like the way that you deal with the trauma, if that makes sense. So he's like, okay, you're going to like really think about this for the next 2 minutes. And like we just kept doing it over and over and over again till like he wasn't feeling anything. I don't really know, but it was.
How's your shin feel?
I haven't had issues with my shin.
How's the dental work?
I think that plays into my childhood trauma.
No, I think there is benefits to that type of modality because your body holds on to trauma.
No, but and I'm probably explaining it really poorly because it's been
makes
like
sense.
2 years. But this guy was like onto something,
No, it makes sense.
and so I'm like, man, maybe we need to bring him into Afterwatch.
Your body remembers when your conscious mind.
Have you
doesn't
read the
remember.
book?
Yeah.
The Body Keeps Score.
Yes,
Love it.
Yeah, your body knows.
exactly. So that's kind of what this guy does.
I can dig it.
have you guys like spent any time at all like looking at how anthropologists can look at the remains of whatever animal they're studying or looking at, and they can just tell based on the grooves in the teeth or like the grooves in the bones how this person or creature spent their days? It's just like wild to me.
They're gonna look at my stuff and be like, oh, put that one back. That one's cursed.
Alien abduction.
Yeah, literally. I'm pretty sure I was abducted by aliens, but we'll talk about that.
Different podcast.
Different podcast.
Well, we all love you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's really
Not as
great.
much. I love you though.
Anything else for you?
Right.
Jealousy much?
A little bit.
That's gay. Oh, jeez. We're getting canceled.
We're all a little bit
We
gay.
are.
We're so
We're
getting
so
canceled.
totally getting canceled.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll see you fuckers next time.
Yep.
Bye.